Hello, this is Dave, and welcome to Equity Story. I'm with the Wolfie. He's back, and he's had a. Now, please tell me, Wolf. This, by the way, this is just general share advice, not personal advice. But really importantly, please tell me you didn't find some pot of gold.
No, but I found a pot of something.
Oh, okay. We won't talk about that. Is still illegal? I think.
No, it's not pot.
Oh, okay.
Look, great trip. A week of recharging the
batteries.
There, right? Yeah, exactly. Not the actual physical, but mental, which is nice. And it's always just a lovely spot to go out to because, Dave, it's almost like being in an oasis, Australian oasis. I saw echidnas, I saw emus, I saw galahs. It was just such a wonderful time.
Oh, that's so nice. And what were you looking for? Was it gemstones or?
No, not gemstones, rocks, but let's call them fossils. They're wood fossils, right? So I'm looking for petrified fern, which were around here, what is it, 40 million years ago, right?
And did you find any petrified fern?
Yes, I found lots. That's why I was so excited. It was a really good trip.
Really? So
and I have to say, to our members that are farmers out there, and I've met a couple of farmers out when I went there, and they were so lovely. So a shout out goes to you guys for letting me on your lands. I'm very respectful, obviously, of your land and so on. So I don't dig or anything like that. I just go and basically clean up your farm by taking some rocks out.
That's very good. And what was the biggest like fern you found, Wolf?
Probably about 2 or 3 kilos, which is nice. So I know, when you say probably about this size, and look, I have to probably show you one. Hang on, give me a sec, and I'll show you what they look like.
Okay.
You can see for yourself how wonderful they can be. Okay, here we go. To show you.
Here we go. Right, let's have a look.
Okay.
Okay.
See that little ferny type stuff, the fronds around it, right there, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Look at that. Look how beautiful that is. That is a petrified fern that's probably age of about 40 million years. A living thing that was here, for the first time that someone's touched it or seen it for 40 million years. How exciting is that? I mean, obviously not for everyone. Dave, you probably go,
No, listen, mate, that's like Wolves lost 5-0 to Arsenal last night. I think I'd rather look at that rock than watch Wolves play. But that's great, Wolfie. And tell me, and the farmers, did you give them some that you found as a gift?
I am going to do some. Actually, we did give some presents. Natalie was kind enough to make some pendants for them because we sort of met them before, but this time they drove me around in their little, four-wheel drive around the properties to show me around a bit. So that was very, very lovely of them. And I dropped some grog of them. They love it.
Oh, all right. Okay. All right. That's well done.
Anyway, thank you so much. It was a great time.
All right, Wolf, what are you going to do with all these paperweights? You're going to start selling them out?
Paperweights? I'll get you. Wash your mouth out. These are like quality specimens that go on the mantelpiece.
Well, can you sell these? Can you
sell them? You know how much this goes for? A really good like specimen like this.
Yeah.
Go for about $500.
Really?
Well Sometimes they go for about $2,000 a kilo.
All right. Okay. Good boy.
It's like gold.
Good boy. All right. Well done, Wolf.
Okay.
All right. Well done. Okay. All right. Let's get going, Wolf. Because while you were away,
yep.
They've got very.
We're very boring. I have to say, when I'm away, you get bored.
You
go, oh my God, where's Wolfie? I don't know what to think about. I got no new stories.
Well, you might.
Let's put on the Rimple.
Well, you might laugh, but I'll tell you what. So we got technology one that's maybe that's doing really, really well for us. So
my idea.
NXT.
Yep.
Which again, so it's already hit our target price. So that's good if you're a short-term trader. Yep. Otherwise, I'll put it as a hot stock because Wolfie, everything was going. It's going tech crazy in America, right? The Dow was up 2%. So
it's going tech AI crazy, yes.
So I think this baby's going higher. So I think it's a question of lifting your stop loss, right? So fine, if you want to take a profit, great. But certainly what you could do with NXT is maybe just lift the stop loss a little bit higher if you wanted.
Yeah, I think you could, in this AI tech craze right now, I think you can lift this stop loss. Well, no, maybe your target to $14.
Yeah, definitely. Just lift your target to 14. Yeah, and just lift your stop loss. So maybe we'll do that when we put the announcement out today. But yeah, no, it's good. And then we got Wolf. We got even more. I mean, we got even some dividend stocks like DBI, which I thought was looking very nice. There's some good broker upgrades, targets around 280, but excellent little dividend pair. And I had to put this on while you weren't here because you don't like gambling. But
I tell you, you wait for a week to go away, and then you go, let's put all these stocks that
put the gambling ones on. But Tabcorp, Wolf. So again, some good broker upgrades, but paying a really nice dividend. Okay, so as you say, you know what, the trend is your friend. And Adobe. So I'm already up 5-6% on that nearly.
You've done very well with that one, and I think you know what. Like I said, this AI thing is going quite well. So I think you're on a winner here with this one.
Yeah, so we had some good moves last week, Wolfie. We did all right, but I'll tell you what, really that the big theme from last week was retail getting hammered, right? Yep. And we had a look at that PNV, which is most probably Lavisa, some of the quality. Look, as soon as you see that, the warnings you've got to get out. But what the market is loving at, where the trend is, it's back to the tech stocks, isn't it? It's back to AI and the big growth there, like you're talking about. And so NXT looks very.
Gonna put on Nvidia. I mean, that's the sort of the flagship of the AI space, right? With Microsoft, of course. But I mean, that is a ridiculous move for Nvidia. It's a big company, and I think, again, FOMO over exuberance. It's gone too hard, too fast. But what they delivered, the update last week, really, I think, shows the incredible AI growth and potential that this could keep going for a number of years. This is the thing. This is a really strong trend here, multi-year potential. So we got to get onto these stocks, NXTs of our world, right? We got to find some more. And I know you've put some trends like
we had again
Ultim and so on. And I think this is another good one.
Wolfie, surprise, they had a buy signal, right?
Yeah.
So it's exactly where a good candle buy signal. I think it hasn't gone on yet, but I think it will go on with it later on in the week. It's very, very, very bullish.
Yeah. So there's a new thing in town, Dave. I just want to quickly to mention it, and it's called Matana. Forget about FANGs, right? Matana. So let's look at these stocks on the charts, please. And Matana is made up of 6 stocks.
You got Microsoft.
Yep, Microsoft.
Apple.
Fantastic, right? Apple. Yep.
Yeah. Nvidia.
Yep. Nvidia. Tesla.
And tell me, why do you think Tesla gets in there, Wolfie?
Because it's got an AI type moniker to it, right? Because it's got driverless technology. It uses a lot of high-end, top predictive type stuff in their software.
Also, Elon Musk owns half of ChatGPT, doesn't he?
No, he wants to start his own, Dave. He doesn't.
No. He owns half of ChatGPT.
Does he? No,
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think so. But look,
he does. He owns it with Microsoft.
No, look, I remember he was going, we got to start our own, and he said, let's stop, and then in the background he's working on his own.
No, that is ChatGPT.
Well, if it is, then I haven't read it, but anyway, okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Interesting, isn't it? I'm not a huge fan of Tesla because of their valuation and stuff, but I can understand why it's in there, right? And the other 2 stocks are Amazon and Alphabet. Yeah. So that's called Mata, right? That's the new in town.
And tell me, and it's funny. So the Meta is gone, is it?
Yep. Goodbye, Facebook.
Really? That's a little bit of a snub,
isn't it? I go, no. They're gonna go. Whoa, hang on a second.
Yeah, but you know what? Nvidia should have always been in that group.
Oh, you look, you can make a case for a lot of stocks, can't you? I mean, there's so many really good, great stories.
But
stories out of the US. That's what capitalism does. They just dominate the industries, and money means power, unfortunately.
But look at Microsoft.
Yeah, I love Microsoft. Obviously, probably the most quality for me out of all of these is Microsoft. Probably Apple would be the second one, and probably you look at some of the others: Amazon, Google, Nvidia, Tesla. And Nvidia is very, very good because it's a really primary type AI. They're developing the chips and everything else that goes with it. These guys are going to be, and I did read about more like smaller type players like Nvidia. So I'm looking at that very closely, Dave. So I will probably maybe have some ideas for you during the week.
Yeah, that'd be good, and see if you can. It's funny. Adobe was a no-brainer, Wolf, because the others had a move, and it was a little bit of a lagger.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's go to today's announcements and
All
see
right.
if we're.
We get so excited, don't we, when you start talking about this stuff?
Yeah, no, it is. But it's exciting because you're following themes. You're going where the money is going.
Exactly. That's what we do.
And you left me in the lurch with 10 minutes to go. Oh, I've got Osbiz, the TV, going, where's Wolfie? I said, didn't he tell you he's not going to be here this week? He said, Dave, can you do it? And so I had to go from one meeting, and then I thought, well, and you laughed. I went very conservative tonight. So.
No, I think you went very, very good. I mean, the 5 stocks you picked were bloody good stories. I like it.
Well,
you think well under pressure.
We're sorry anyway. So those stocks that we actually put on the TV are ones that obviously were trading at Equity Story, which are NXT, ALU, which had a buy signal, XRO, TNE, and we actually put little Woodside on, Wolf, which is again up today, looking pretty good. Right.
Very well done.
Now LLL, Leo Lithium.
Yes.
What up 11%, Wolfie? What's going on here?
Well, Dave, I mean, you got a placement, right? We've obviously gone pause. We're going to raise some cash after a good jump, and guess what? They're putting it at a premium of the price. What the hell? What a good capital raising! This is 81 cents, but they're getting the money from Ganfeng, which is Chinese. So unfortunately, how that's going to play out, I don't know. And I'm very skeptical. I have to say, always, because we've seen these stoushes between companies that are coming in, then they trying to, obviously maybe sometimes get the project themselves, especially in that region of Africa. We've seen that before, haven't we? So I'm skeptical, but look, great project. Of course, I've always said this is one of the best projects globally for lithium. So as long as things stay normalized, this is very, very good to trend.
All right. Okay. So if you're in it, you're holding on that announcement.
Yep.
ALQ, Wolf, the market not liking that announcement. It's down 4.5%. What's going on here?
Okay. I didn't mind it. I don't follow the story too closely. I don't mind it. I think it's a global player. So in effect, I don't mind probably investing into it in the long term if I find the right time to get into it, right point in its cycle. It is cyclical type of story, but the results today were decent. I think the trading on what's the price at the moment? 11.73. So I'm just going to work out what they're actually trading on right now. So just give me a sec. Hang on. On what P they're trading on. So 11.73, and we're going to divide it by 66 cents as its EPS. So they're trading on 17 times, which is not bad, for a company that's still growing. They did talk about their outlook, which is a little bit sketchy. It wasn't perfect. So maybe that's the other reason. So there's probably two things didn't quite maybe hit what the expectations were, and maybe their outlook wasn't as strong as investors hoping and therefore. But maybe, over time it will present an opportunity to buy again. So my probably worst thing for it, I look at it and I'm thinking, and they've announced that they've had 13 acquisitions over the year, Dave. What? 13 acquisitions? I'm thinking, oh my God. So for me, even though they might be small, being such an acquisitive company, maybe just too much for me. So pass for me for the moment. Come back to it later.
All right. DVP, a joint venture with Tijua Contracting Service.
Yeah, so it's an Aboriginal contracting service company. And And look, it will probably open doors for them. And it's a good partnership. But look, anytime you can get into partnership with, the traditional landholders or stakeholders, it's very, very, very good, very, very good, because it just makes things a little bit easier. They can, work off each other. It works well. So for me, DVP is still a very, very quality story here with Bill Beeman in charge.
So I'm interested. So an Aboriginal contracting service company would that have preference over a white Australian company?
In what sort of sense do you mean?
Well, you said it's an advantage, right? Being involved
because
with
they are custodial, lands. I suppose, but they pretty much own the land, right? So if you can, have connections and easier access, and potentially, because they rule the lands, you can see maybe they can come out.
Sorry,
out of
I'm getting confused here. I thought the land was owned by the Australia. It's Australian. So I'm.
Yeah, but they are the what do you call it? The managers of the land. That's how you can probably call it, right?
Okay. No, it just seems a little bit unfair for a contract if you're contracting and someone's got the advantage to get the deal.
Well, but that's like with anything, doesn't it? I mean, if you are, the people that are in charge of that particular pastoral lands, whatever, then you of course you're gonna, if someone wants to work on your land or with you and so on, you got to go through them, don't you?
Yeah, no, I don't know. Listen, I'm just trying to understand it. It just seems to me a little bit racist. That's to be honest with you. But anyway, which maybe that's the way it has to be. So I'm not saying anything, but it seems a little bit odd. That's all. All right.
Normal part of Australia that native title has to be granted. So if you can get in a partnership with the people, then it makes things easier.
Yeah, no. All right. Okay. LIN.
Okay, so Lindian, great results, right? Another one that will be probably trending. Oops. However, it's in Malawi, right? So maybe not the best jurisdiction, but I tell you what, I prefer probably Malawi to some of the other jurisdictions in Africa. So for me, probably probably top 5 I've seen rare earth plays globally.
Right, and I'll tell you what, that looks very good, that chart. We'll see.
I like it. Again, you can definitely trend this.
And NWH doesn't look very good on the charts, but
okay. Well, let's another contract, $120-something million. So the contract is actually a little bit under the nose at the moment, aren't they? They're not all going up in unison. There's a few that are struggling. There's a couple that are going up. Like XRF is still looking very good, like I saw, and I think Duratec is another one that's going up. But you got to be careful because there's some potholes in this space. NWH obviously not trending, so this is not the favored one.
Right. Now you want to talk about MGG because
very interesting story, right? So this is an old Moguls esports. I think they were just like an esports company that didn't do very well, become a shell, I think, at the end of the day. So now they're picking up some ground, lithium, going from esports to lithium in Canada. So probably the same sellers, the vendors that have sold their stuff to Patriots, WO1, and all these sort of things. So, pretty good ground by the looks of things. I think they're about 20 Ks away from WO1. So they're picking up a lot of ground in Canada on lithium, but also, interesting enough, the person that's going into the company as the chairman is Iggy Tan. Iggy Tan was I suppose that almost like the founding father of the lithium industry here in Australia, because he was the first one that goes part of the Galaxy on the first wave of lithium, right? So he did quite well out of that, going back onto lithium. And guess what he's going to call the company? Lithium Galaxy. So there you go. Look, it just put on your watch list. Just see when it come out of the trading hold, see what it does.
What are they trading? What market cap?
Let's have a look. So from that point of view, this could be quite an interesting little, really penny punt, isn't it? But let me have a quick look what the company is going to, because they have to go. They're changing the whole nature of the business, so they got to go through.
It's 5 million market cap.
Yeah, so they'll probably be, I'd say, market cap of about 20 mil once everything, they've got a capital raise, they've got to buy all these projects out of Canada. So I'd say around that sort of number, but still, if they pick up some really good ground, this could go for a run.
Right, and they've got to pay for that. They've got to obviously raise the money to buy these
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, no one's going to give it to them for free.
Okay, 4.5 million. So 10 million market cap,
Let's
right?
say 10 million market cap, right? Still looks good, doesn't it? Just on that.
Well, let's have a look. I mean, if they got lucky, what are some of these similar explorers?
Well, look at WO1. Look at WO1. I mean, they are 20 Ks away from WO1.
Look at Leo Lithium's trading at 800 million market cap, which are
R1.
R1. Let's have a look at WR1, and they're 20 Ks away.
Yep.
Right. Okay.
I can't see the charts though, Dave.
Okay. I'm just looking at the market cap. So WR1 market cap is 300 million, right? So yeah.
But you could just see a doubler or tripler just out of nothing, right? Really, just on the announcement that they're going into Canada. Anyway, something for you to put on your watch list. We'll talk about it, I'm sure, a few times over the next couple of weeks when they actually raise the cash and come back on the boards.
It's interesting. It is interesting, though, isn't it?
Mm.
And they're not trading yet.
No, and the thing is, like I said, you've got someone of note and repute with Iggy Tan coming back on board, right? Back into lithium again. Like I said, he's actually using the old moniker of Galaxy in there somewhere, which is quite interesting. So let's see.
All right, I want to talk about another one, POL.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Because we got this on as a trend at the moment, and it's not putting the lights out.
No.
We've got a stop loss on the weekly at 28. It hasn't hit our weekly stop loss. It's high risk. But you're liking this.
Patient. Yeah, I'll be patient with this. They had an announcement today. I had a presentation, right? Obviously, presentations are just glossy pieces of paper, talking up the project, of course, right? We understand. We talked about it. This is the old Endeavour mine that, it's been mothballed for a little bit of time. And, they picked it up on a real cheap, one of those, like I said, I think 2 weeks ago, one of those O'Keefe moments where it was, 300 million odd spent developing it. And I think they picked it up for 10. Right. So it's another one of those great buys, but looks as if maybe they still got a decent resource of about 15 million tons, right, at very good grades. And now they've had some drilling that potentially could add more tons to the whole project. And the other interesting thing was there was an interview with Bill Beamans. He's, again, done something similar with Woodlawn for his project. And he was actually talking polymetals up. He was saying, well, they've done a very good job picking this project up. I think I really like it, all this sort of thing. So, you've got a tick of approval from industry players as well. I think this is, be patient with it and see what happens. Obviously it's dependent probably also on commodity prices and the sentiment out there. So just still stick to the strategy of having your stop losses, but, just be a little bit patient with it because I think over time, if they...
All right, in the light of those new draw results, in the light of new evidence, would you give the stop loss more leeway or not?
Yeah, I would. And this is my sort of theory here on this. If everything goes well, so in other words, if they progress it, if they hit their targets, the drilling is good, they make a splash with bigger resource, go back to mining. If this mines again, this probably a $200 million plus company, right? For mining. So what market cap at the moment, 50 million bucks. So you can see there's a potential there to be a double, a triple, a quadruple even.
All right, so we're going to drop that. We're going to put that. It hasn't hit our stop loss yet, so we're going to go for 23 on the stop loss. Wolf.
Yeah, I think so. Look, if I'm going to give it a bit of time and patience, then yeah, I'd probably drop it because it's just too tight.
Right, we'll give it a little bit more leeway. And again, that's what you do with the stock market. Is you see sort of different information come out, you get a little bit more. I'd say a little bit more secure with the story.
Yeah, understanding of it, absolutely. All those sort of things that you're thinking, okay, well, can I just slightly tweak the whole thesis here? And absolutely, I think that's the right thing to do.
All right, absolutely brilliant. And certainly also with NXT, if you're taking a profit, great. But certainly if you want to, give it a little bit longer and maybe hit that target price of 14, you're very welcome to. And we'll change that as well and lift that target price, because it just looks, the whole thing looks very, very strong, doesn't it?
Yep, it certainly does.
Right. Okay. Now, Wolfie, we had a few buy signals that look good. DUR. Now that price actually I thought was excellent last week. And again, Claude was talking about still, it doesn't look expensive from a fundamental view.
Nope.
You saw Webjet just going on with it. And of course, there you go. ALU, one of the tech plays again, looking very good for this week. Woodside I thought was looking good. Lightly traded SND looks like it's going to go back at least that 120. Doug, I don't think Doug looked very, very good. Wolf.
I mean, what a beautiful chart too. It's like, it's the sort of abbreviated version of your exhaustion patterns, isn't it, Dave?
Yeah, no. Yeah, no, it looks very, very good. Looks excellent. And Wolfie little AGL is marching on.
I know. I mean, that's the big surprise for me.
Yeah, well, it's the guy. It's the guys. The Cannon Brooks is. He's giving a bit of excitement to the company, isn't he?
It is, and look, I've been away for a week, and I've missed some interesting moves during the week. So I'm looking at some of my watch list here, and there's some really interesting stories that we used to like that's starting to come back to life again, and actually looking much better. Maybe even, as a buy even.
So you've got one of the best tech plays on a market that hasn't risen. OCL.
Yep.
And it's
just a little bit touch more, doesn't it? It's probably another week, a week behind everyone else.
Yeah, and it's struggled to get through trend. It hasn't really trended, but if we're right, Wolf, that the tech stories are back. And
look at 88, for example, Dave. That's looking all right.
Well, James wanted this as on this Friday. James said, Dave, this has got to be the hot stock, right? and to be honest with you, I thought, how we love stealing our clients' ideas.
Yeah, of course. That's what.
And I thought, yeah, James had a point, but the only thing I just thought that $10 was going to be too much resistance for me. That's the only reason I didn't go for it. But I think James had a good point. It's a great looking stock, isn't it?
Yeah, and look at my favorite, Dave. And I just wanted to mention, because the chart looks so good, and that's SNL.
SNL, which you own in the fund.
I'm sure you probably almost had it on your watch list, wouldn't
you? Which you own in the fund.
Yes. Well, yes. That's why I would. But what I own in the fund, I've got obviously on my watch list. I'm just telling you what's standing out at the moment today on the watch list, and that's one looks standing out.
Looks excellent, and up 5%, looking very, very good.
Anyway, looking decent, and let's hope that Congress will sign off on this. Supposedly, those two parties coming together and raising that debt ceiling. So that looks positive for this week. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, Wolf, and I think I'm not saying it's a done deal, but they seem to be pretty close, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. On that note, I'd like to thank. It's good to have you back, Wolfie, and some really interesting ideas there. POL, you're more enthusiastic about that one.
Yeah, I think it's growing on me a little bit more, so that's why I give it a bit of leeway. But it's still a high risk. Can't be. So you just got to get out if it does drop below that 24 or 23 cents, whatever you said, Dave.
And possibly this MGG, right?
I want to watch this. I want to see how this goes, because it's got some good names to it attached to it. It's got good ground by the looks of things, so we'll see.
All right, Wolf. Listen, on that note, I thank you very, very much. Really, absolutely brilliant ideas from the Wolf. And welcome back, Wolf. And yeah, you can go and polish those rocks.
Excellent. Thank you.
All right, see you, mate. Bye.
Bye.